Hello and welcome to Spanish Basics. In this module, I'll be reviewing with you irregular IR verbs. The topics will be as follows. I'll begin with an introduction, and then I'll follow that with a discussion in the present tense, in the preterite tense, and in the future tense. By way of introduction, the conjugation rules for regular verbs are reviewed in modules 7 through 10 and 13. Irregular verbs deviate from the regular conjugation rules. There can be stem vowel changes or ending changes or changes in both. In some verbs, the changes occur in the entire conjugation set, meaning in all singular and plural persons. Most often, however, the changes are to one or more persons. Finally, irregular verb construction for IR verbs is primarily in the present and the preterite, with some in the future tense. Let's begin with the present tense. These are examples of irregular verbs in all persons. You have ir to go, venir to come, and oír to hear. Let's go through them all. For ir, voy, vas, va, vamos, vais, van. For venir, vengo, vienes, viene, venimos, venís, vienen. For oír, oigo, oyes, oye, oímos, oís, and oyen. Next, we have a change to the first person singular. The other persons of these verbs have regular construction. We have salir, which means to leave, to go out, salgo. Decir, which means to say, to tell, digo. Traducir, to translate, traduzco. Conducir, to lead, to drive, conduzco. Producir, to produce, produzco. Now, we're going to continue with the change to the first person singular. These are verbs ending in GER. Change the G to a J. Corregir, to correct, corrijo. Dirigir, to direct, to address a letter, dirijo. Elegir, to elect, to select, to choose, elijo. Now verbs ending in GUIR, we drop the U. Distinguir, to distinguish, distingo. Seguir, to follow, to continue, sigo. Conseguir, to get, to obtain, consigo. Perseguir, to pursue, persigo. Now this is a rather full page. We're going to review portions of it. These are UIR verbs with the exception of GUIR verbs. Now here we add Y to all singular persons and the third person plural. Now the changes are all in red. On the left, the verbs are concluir, to conclude, to finish, construir, to constitute, contribuir, to contribute, construir, to construct, destruir, to destroy, distribuir, to distribute, oír, to flee, incluir, to include, influir, to influence, sustituir, to substitute. Let's just go through concluir. Concluyo, concluyes, concluye, concluimos, concluís, concluyen. Continuing with the present tense, next we have a change where we have E to I to all singular persons and the third person plural. Servir, to serve, reír, to laugh, pedir, to ask for, reñir, to scold or quarrel, repetir, to repeat, sonreír, to smile. Let's go through servir, to serve. Sirvo, sirves, sirve, servimos, servís, sirven. Next we have a change from E to IE to all singular persons and the third person plural. Sentir, to feel, to be sorry. Siento, sientes, siente. Sentimos, sentís, sienten. Preferir, to prefer, prefiero, prefieres, prefiere, preferimos, preferís, prefieren. Next we have a change O to U, E, to all singular persons and the third person plural. Morir, to die, muero, mueres, muere, morimos, morís, mueren. Dormir, to sleep, duermo, duermes, duerme, dormimos, dormís, duermen. Now we have in the preterite tense, these are irregular verbs in all the singular and plural persons. Now, the first verb is ir, to go, and ser, to be. Now, these two verbs have identical conjugation in the preterite. So the conjugation is fui, fuiste, fue, fuimos, fuisteis, fueron. On the left, the other verbs would be decir, to say, to tell, hacer, to do, to make, venir, to come, traducir, to translate, conducir, to lead, to conduct, and producir, to produce. Continuing on in a preterite, next we have a change of E to I in a third person singular and plural. Servir, to serve, sirvo, sirvieron. Next we have a change of O to U in a third person singular and plural. Dormir, to sleep, durmió, durmieron. Now we have a change of I to Y in the third person singular and plural. Oír, to hear, oyó, oyeron. Continuing in the preterite tense, these are UIR verbs except GUIR verbs. Here we add Y in the third person singular and plural. For construir, to construct, to build, it's construyó, construyeron. The other verbs would be contribuir, to contribute, concluir, to conclude, to finish, constituir, to constitute, destruir, to destroy, distribuir, to distribute, huir, to flee, incluir, to include, influir, to influence, and sustituir, to substitute. Now we move on to the future tense. These are irregular verbs in all the singular and plural persons. You have salir, to leave, venir, to come, decir, to say, to tell, hacer, to do, to make, and haber, to have. Let's go over salir. Saldré, saldrás, saldrá, saldremos, saldréis, saldrán. At this point, we're at the end of this module, but before we go, let's review a refrain or a proverb. No hay dos sin tres. These things always come in threes. I want to thank you for watching Spanish Basics. Muchas gracias. Hasta luego.